He's not big, he's not athletic, he's not in your face. Steph Curry is not your NBA prototype. The Golden State Warriors point guard is unique in every way, and no one has shot the ball like him in the history of the sport. Kobe Bryant is a global phenomenon whose feats with the Los Angeles Lakers put him in the top 10 players of all time. Shaquille O'Neal and Tim Duncan come from very different ends of the spectrum, but they share one thing. They were two of the best big men the NBA has ever seen. This is the Immortals. The numbers simply don't lie. The NBA has never seen anything like the scoring tsunami that is Steph Curry. He is the greatest shooter in basketball history. The NBA has never seen anyone like Steph Curry, the son of a gun with the quick release, who has smashed all the record books with the Golden State Warriors. One of those records was the number of consecutive games with at least one three-pointer. Curry went for almost 2 years and an extraordinary 157 straight games before inexplicably going 0 for 10 against the LA Lakers on November 4, 2016. So how did Curry react? 3 days later, he broke his own NBA three-point game record, hitting 13 against the New Orleans Pelicans on his way to 46 points.
Ever since I tied it the first time, I thought about what it would take to get one more. So I don't know, I can't remember the last time I did it, but when you know what the record is and you get to 12 and you tie, it's kind of a cool feeling, but if you get that close, there's a little something that says, why, try to get one more and get the record for yourself. And now I just, the envelope's been pushed a little bit more.
The Warriors point guard started his history-changing run in the 2012-13 season, where he broke the NBA record for three-pointers in the regular season. Ray Allen had owned that after shooting 269 for the Seattle Supersonics in the 2005-06 season. Curry raised his own record to 286 in 2015 and then smashed it in 2016, converting an unbelievable 402 three-pointers. He was unstoppable, but the beauty about the Warriors was he had a partner in crime, another son of a gun, Klay Thompson, with the pair becoming known as the Splash Brothers. Together they went on a scoring rampage, setting the NBA record for three-pointers by teammates in 2013-14 by hitting 484. 2 seasons later, they'd taken that record to 678. Curry's dominance was recognized in 2015 when he was named the NBA's most valuable player, ahead of Houston's James Harden.
This hasn't sunk in at all. I'm on cloud 9 for sure. Obviously, we're in the middle of a playoff run, and that's the most important thing. But today is a celebration for sure.
Curry capped off the best season of his career by leading the Warriors to their first championship in 40 years. After a slow start to the finals against Cleveland, he produced a series-changing 37 points in Game 5. His coach, Steve Kerr, knew a bit about associating with superstars, given he played with the greatest of all time, Michael Jordan, in Chicago.
The obvious answer would be Michael Jordan, and Steph does it so differently from Michael. I guess the similarity is just the awe-inspiring plays, the jaw-dropping plays that really bring the house down, even on the road. I remember those noises coming on the road when Michael would have a game like that. But the way Steph does it is totally totally different from Michael. It's obviously, you know, two very different players, but that was something.
Still to come on the Immortals, how Steph Curry proved the doubters wrong. Del Curry played with 5 NBA clubs and was one of the best players in Charlotte Hornets history. In 1994, he was named the NBA's best sixth man, but one thing eluded him during his 16-year pro career: a championship ring. While his oldest son, Steph, managed to win the family's first in 2015, his youngest, Seth, has also become an NBA regular with the Dallas Mavericks.
I exposed him to a lot of different things in the NBA, the fans, the facilities. He watched players work ethic on a daily basis, how hard they work. He understood the game, I think, from going to practices and watching what the coaches would put in and their type of systems. So I take credit there, just exposing him to the game and teaching him early.
There are only 4 father-son combinations to have won NBA championships. Curry's teammate Klay Thompson is the latest to join the elite club, as his father Michael, the #1 pick in the 1978 draft, won 2 titles with the Los Angeles Lakers in 1987 and 1988. Legendary center Bill Walton won 2 championships, at Portland, then alongside the legendary Larry Bird. His son Luke, now head coach of the Lakers, won back-to-back titles with LA in 2009 and 2010. Rick Barry won a title with the Golden State Warriors in 1975, something which his son Brent repeated 30 years later with the San Antonio Spurs. The first father-son championship combination was Matt Guokas Sr. and Jr., who won titles at the Warriors and Philadelphia 76ers, 20 years apart.
When it comes to basketball, I was always the smallest kid on my team. I had a terrible, ugly catapult shot from the time I was 14 because I wasn't strong enough to shoot over my head, and I had to reconstruct that over a summer, and it was the worst 3 months of my life.
Steph Curry was born in Akron, Ohio, the same town as LeBron James. He went to high school in Charlotte, North Carolina, before joining Davidson College, where he became the school's all-time leading scorer. There were plenty of questions about Curry coming into the 2009 NBA draft, where he was taken at number 7 by the Golden State Warriors. He was undersized, wasn't a special athlete, not physically strong enough to battle with the biggest-sized NBA guards, and there was a theory he would struggle to consistently get his shot off. So much for that. The scary thing was, Curry and the Warriors went up a level in the 2015-16 season. After Curry dumped 40 points in the season opener, the Warriors broke the NBA's winning streak record to start a season going 24-0. It set up a history-changing season, which came down to a thrilling climax. In the final regular season game, Curry hit 10 three-pointers to become the first player to break through the 400 barrier as his team registered its 73rd win, surpassing the 1995-96 Chicago Bulls record of 72 wins and 10 losses. For his part, the superstar point guard created history by becoming the first player to win the MVP by unanimous vote.
I looked at the list of everybody who's won an MVP before, and the legends, guys that their name are household names and they jump off the page. And to be the first unanimous MVP award winner is something that I don't even know how to put into words.
And I think what makes you special, Steph, is obviously you've got a lot of God-given talent, but it's the determination, it's the love for the game. There's no agenda It's just, I want to get better.
Once again matched against James and his Cavaliers, Curry gave the Warriors a 3-1 lead after delivering a stunning 38 points in Game 4. No team in history had lost a championship series with that lead until 2016, as James's Cavs won the final 3 games to end the Cleveland curse, an agonizing 52-year drought since any of the city's sports franchises had won a title.
It'll haunt me for a while because it means a lot to me to, try to lead my team and do what I need to do on the court and in big stages. Done it before, didn't do it tonight.
The loss cut deep. While James's legend grew, questions were asked of Curry, but he bounced back the next season, becoming the fastest in history to hit 1,000 career three-pointers. That's what Curry does. It's his DNA. Shoot his way out of anything at any time. Like Michael Jordan was a whole other thing, this guy is his own thing. It's beautiful for basketball. Up next on the Immortals, the high school kid who made Los Angeles great again. A scoring machine is an understatement when it comes to Kobe Bryant. 60 points in his last game and a career high of 81 is simply out of this world.
To me, the top, maybe top 3 legacies of all time, in sports history. The things that he's accomplished, the way he revolutionized the game, the way he approached the game, his attitudes towards getting better and working hard. It's amazing, man.
Oh, yeah, you definitely look up to him. I call him, in my opinion, the Michael Jordan of this era that I've seen in basketball. So that's how talented and how great he is.
Kobe Bryant was only the 6th player in history to go directly from high school into the NBA in 1996. The 17-year-old student from Lower Merion High School in Pennsylvania was taken at number 13 in the draft by the Charlotte Hornets and immediately traded to the Los Angeles Lakers. 20 years later, he left the game as the 3rd highest scorer in NBA history. And he went out in style, scoring an incredible 60 points in his final game against the Utah Jazz on April 13, 2016.
The perfect ending would have been a championship. That's perfect ending to me. But tonight was, trying to go out, playing hard, and try to put on a show as much as I possibly could. And it felt good to be able to do that one last time.
Bryant finished with a career average of 25 points. He scored more than 60 points 6 times and went past 50 on 24 occasions. His personal best was an astonishing 81 points in 2006 against the Toronto Raptors, the 2nd highest in history behind Wilt Chamberlain's 100-point game in 1962.
Score 81 points is something that, it just seems ridiculous. And just, I watched it over and over again, and you just see him scoring and scoring and scoring. It was a close game, and, 81. That's all you got to say.
Bryant's legacy includes 5 championships, 2 Finals MVP awards, the 2008 League MVP, 2 league scoring titles, 2 Olympic gold medals, and he finished as an 18-time NBA All-Star. Many regard him as the greatest Laker in history, although he rates his hero Magic Johnson at number 1, while legendary center Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is also in the conversation.
It means everything. I grew up a diehard Laker fan. And so, it's like a dream come true for a kid to grow up, play for his favorite team, and play there for 20 years. His entire career, I've seen the city grow, I've seen the city develop, and vice versa. There's no place I'd rather end my career.
The arrival of Phil Jackson as coach in 1999 was the making of Bryant, And together with center Shaquille O'Neal, he led the Lakers to 3 consecutive championships from 2000 to 2002. Through all the ups and downs, Bryant never wavered from his scorer's mentality that had served him so well. I would go 0 for 30 before I would go 0 for 9. 0 for 9 means you beat yourself. You psyched yourself out of the game. The Lakers came good again in 2009, winning the championship. But it was his 5th title the following year, which Bryant calls his most satisfying. In Game 7 of the 2010 Finals against the Boston Celtics, the Lakers fought back from 13 points down in the 3rd quarter to win the series with Bryant scoring 10 points in the final term. An Achilles injury in 2013 cost him 8 months, and Bryant was never really the same again, even though he was still able to go big at any time. As a kid, he dreamed about being the greatest.
Was it your goal to be the best basketball player on the planet?
Yes, it was, yeah.
Did you achieve that?
Well, it's funny, like, as a kid, I was growing up and I said, I want to be the greatest that ever played, right? And then as you get older, you start understanding that there's no real answer to that, right? And I found a lot of comfort once I realized that my goal really is to be the best player I can be. And then what that means helping my teammates be the best players that they can be. And once I figured that out, then my game went to another level.
Shaquille O'Neal was the first rookie to be voted an NBA All-Star starter since Michael Jordan. That said a lot. While the focus was understandably on his size, given the #1 draft pick in 1992 came in at 216 centimeters and 147 kilograms, there was a lot more to the center from Louisiana State University who would demand the spotlight for the next 19 years. Everywhere he went, Shaq made not only the teams better, but his teammates too. And he did it through brute force, a physical presence the NBA had yet to experience. An ominous and imposing figure at both ends of the floor, whose ferocious slam dunks were both unstoppable and his trademark. In his 3rd season with the Orlando Magic, the franchise made its first finals appearance in history. He then went to LA and rejuvenated the Lakers, with Phil Jackson telling Shaq that the MVP trophy should be named after him when he retired, given how dominant he could potentially become. His combination with Kobe Bryant won 3 consecutive championships for the Lakers, with Shaq named the Finals MVP in each of them. He was a 2-time scoring champion and won the MVP award in 2000, going just 1 short of being the first to win by unanimous vote. While he was big in stature, he was even bigger in personality. If I were a painter, you'd be calling me Chicasso. After a spectacular falling out with Bryant, Shaq moved to Miami, where he elevated the Heat to championship material, winning his 4th title in 2006. He moved on again in 2008, with injuries impacting the final years of his career, which involved brief stops in Phoenix and Cleveland, before ending with the Boston Celtics in 2011. Shaq was an all-star favorite, making 15 appearances and winning the MVP 3 times.
I mean, I'm a very lucky player because I went through 3 different eras of the All-Star game. And I went through the Mike era, where it was Mike and Barkley and all those guys, and I went through the my era, where it was me all the time, and Kobe, and now it's the Kobe, LeBron, D-Wade era, Dwight Howard era. So I've been lucky enough to go through all 3 of those transitions.
He finished his career at number 7 on the all-time scoring table, averaging 23.7 points, along with 10.9 rebounds and 2.3 blocks. It put him near the top of the pile when it came to the best centers in NBA history, alongside Wilt Chamberlain, Bill Russell, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. There was only ever one chink in his armor: free throws. Me shooting 40% at the foul line is just God's way to say nobody's perfect. In 2016, he was inducted into the NBA Hall of Fame.
I just wanted to be like the great Bill Russell, Kareem, Wilt Chamberlain, and, I developed my own style. And, later on in my career, people start comparing me to them. So I was like, if they're going to compare me to the greats, I have to represent the game with grace and honor. And, hopefully I get voted in.
A year later, his impact at the Lakers was honored with a statue erected at the Staples Center, finishing one of his trademark monster dunks. Shaq had many nicknames over the journey: Superman, Shaq Daddy, the Big Aristotle. But what never changed was one simple fact: he was an immortal. When we return, the unassuming superstar who inspired not only his team, but the entire league. For 19 seasons, Tim Duncan epitomized everything that was good about the game of basketball with the San Antonio Spurs. By his own admission, Tim Duncan was boring. If you show excitement, then you also may show disappointment or frustration. If your opponents pick up on this frustration, you are at a disadvantage. He definitely has claims for being the most reserved superstar in NBA history, with a CV that dwarfs almost everyone else over the past 20 years. Duncan was selected by the San Antonio Spurs with the #1 pick in the 1997 NBA Draft. It didn't take long for the 211-centimeter power forward to make his mark, and in his second road game, he grabbed 22 rebounds against Chicago Bulls defensive king and rebounder deluxe, Dennis Rodman. Duncan strolled home with the Rookie of the Year award in 1998, averaging 21 points. I have seen the future, and he wears number 21. In 1999, he led the Spurs to their first NBA title and was named Finals MVP. That was to become a common theme, with Duncan repeating the double in 2003 and 2005, while also claiming back-to-back league MVP awards in 2002 and 2003. The Spurs' fourth title came in 2007. They then had to wait 7 years before getting back there again in 2014 against the two-time defending champions Miami Heat, with a 38-year-old Duncan still the driving force. The Spurs' game style epitomized team-first basketball, with Duncan at the forefront, and after shocking the Heat on their home court to take a 3-1 series lead, the man they called the Big Fundamental wrapped up a 5th championship ring.
For whatever reason, it is sweeter than any other, whether it be because of the time frame, because I'm coming towards the end of my career, because I can have these two here and really remember and enjoy the experience. All those things make it that much more special.
It was Duncan's special relationship with coach Greg Popovich which laid the foundation for his personal success and that of the franchise.
I'd be in the Bud League, the Budweiser League, someplace in America, fat and still trying to play basketball or coach basketball. But he's why I'm standing here. He's made livings for hundreds of us, staff and coaches over the years, and never said a word, just came to work every day, came early, stayed late, was there for every single person, from the top of the roster to the bottom of the roster, because that's who he was. So in all those respects, he's irreplaceable.
After becoming only the 3rd player in history to play in 1,000 regular season wins, Duncan retired in July 2016 with more than 26,000 points to his name.
A player like Tim Duncan is irreplaceable, so we will miss him.
A 15-time All-Star, the quiet and unassuming power forward will go down as one of the greatest players in NBA history.
He's the greatest power forward of all time. You know, what he's done for this league, what he's done for the Spurs organization, what he represents is something that you can kind of look towards if you ever, I don't know, if you ever kind of get sidetracked. You look at a guy like that and it kind of puts you right back in place.